presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are MC.
Royals baseball on a beautiful day in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After dropping Game 1 on Friday, the Royals bounced back last night, winning 6-2. And today is the final game of the three-game series. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Ned Yost has said over and over again since taking over as Royals manager in 2010, he wants a starting rotation of guys where he knows what to expect when they take the mound. And Danny Duffy has become one of those guys.
No question. But he didn't use the word, but I'll use it for him. An ace is developing. That's right, a guy that's consistent, that you know what he brings every time out. That's the label that you're looking for. And that model of consistency we've been seeing from Duffy, hope it transfers over to Ventura.
All right, good transition there, because Ventura's nickname is Ace. And in the second half of last year, Hud, it seemed like he became that consistent guy, but more inconsistency this year.
Yes, and we're seeing that. But you know what, though? Some guys take longer to develop. So, look, they're going to be patient. You know, Duffy, it's taken him a couple of years. It might take Ventura 3 before he becomes that guy where they know who's going to throw the same pitches and be the same guy. But, look, he's got to be able to bring that breaking ball in, though, more, Ryan. His last outing, he didn't use the hook enough. You got to use the hook to keep the guys off the heater to be successful.
And in that last start, he gave up 7 runs to the Cardinals. He was very good in his 2 starts prior to that. Today, he will face the Philadelphia Phillies, and they have a young right-hander, Vince Velasquez, who's off to a great start. And after struggles for most of the first half of the season on the road, the Royals have suddenly won 5 of their last 8 away from Kauffman Stadium. the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com.
All right, let me introduce you to the man behind the lies. Institutional hangover, he's the devil in disguise. Let me introduce you to the man behind the veil. He's got a plan for Sabbath.
And there you have it. This series is tied at 1 game apiece. The lineups and the first pitch for Game 3 are coming up next. Royals are 3-1 through St. Louis and Philadelphia, and after today the Royals will head to Toronto, so we get to spend the 4th of July in Canada.
Yeah, how about it? Hopefully we put a little beat down on them.
And the Royals are starting to play better away from Kauffman Stadium. Here's Ned Yost's lineup today, which will include Drew Butera batting 8th, and he'll be back at the plate for Yordano Ventura, who will have the bat in his hands for the first time this year. And the Royals could have their hands full as they face right-hander Vince Velasquez. He's gotten off to a very good start for the Phillies, 25 years old, coming over in a trade with the Astros during the offseason.
Yes, he's a young horse. He's got a power fastball. He's going to challenge a lot of hitters with that pitch. You know, he's got a nice ERA, slider, curve, changeup. He's got a good changeup, though. He's going to use that down in the zone, just like you saw that pitch there. But the thing that's been so good this year with him, at home, he's got a 1.24 ERA. An opponent's only hitting 162 here. At home, he's going to be tough.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. That's better than Clayton Kershaw and better than Jake Arrieta at home this year.
All right, so but you know what? The Royals can change that. They have an aggressive hitting offense. Just set the table up for Morales, and hopefully he'll stay hot.
Velasquez Citizens Bank Park debut was against the Padres back in the middle of April, and he threw a shutout with 16 strikeouts. And I remember we were in Houston about that time, and Ken Giles, whom the Phillies traded to the Astros, was really struggling, had a couple of bad games against the Royals, and Astros fans were crying about the trade that sent Velasquez away. Little tap is foul off to the third base side. 0-1 to Alex Gordon. 1 for 7 with a couple of walks in this series.
You know, trades are made for the good of both teams, really. You know, the Astros needed a bullpen guy. They needed a strong thrower, and he's gotten better, but not like Velasquez. It's hard to find a starter like him. Strong, aggressive. He's amped up.
Got a couple of starters who are on the comeback. For Velasquez, he's made one start since coming back from the disabled list. He was out for 19 days with a strained right biceps. And of course, Yordano Ventura will be making his second start today since coming back from his suspension.
See, Velasquez, you know, he's got a couple of variations with his fastball. He'll rush it up to 95 at times, but you see the low 90s fastball. That's more like a BP fastball. And it's a batting practice fastball. Nice.
Good swing. Alex down in the count, goes the other way.
Oh, man, that's a good sign. His first at bat, how easy the swing was. He just took his hands right to the ball. He didn't try to uppercut and do too much with it. He's got a little more bend in his upper half today. He's not standing so upright. You see a little bend. That's good for him. He's going to be able to reach those outside pitches when he bends like that. Really a good swing to start the game.
Yeah, we noticed that 2 nights ago here in Philadelphia, that he was more upright at the plate than we're used to.
It's a little bit harder to reach those outside pitches. So it's already a meeting with Cameron Rupp, his catcher, going out there.
In each of the first 2 games of the series, the Royals have had 2 base runners in the first. They haven't been able to cash a run in yet. As Merrifield steps in and takes down and away ball 1. Witt had a 2-hit game last night. He drove in a run and scored a run in the Royals' biggest inning, a 5-run second.
Look, there's something going on, Ryan. I could tell by Rupp going out there that there was something that wasn't right.
You know, sorry to cut you off, Hud, but I thought I was reading too much into it. But when Rupp jogged back to home plate, he looked into the dugout and he shook and wiggled his right arm. And I thought, is he telling the dugout that something's hurting?
You know, at least they got to talk about it. This young man here, he's their future. And that outing before he had the biceps tendonitis, he only threw 2 pitches. Similar to this. But, you know, his first few fastballs were 90, 91. And I got to talk to Bob McClure about him, and he said, you know, he's been throwing a BP fastball, which is a less velocity, but that's what I thought that was. But let's see if we can see anything.
Well, they're going to leave him in. Well, I was telling you about his Philly debut. He threw a shutout against the Padres. His last pitch was 97 miles an hour. So maybe he's throwing a BP fastball today. Maybe not, because we're seeing 90, 91 miles an hour.
That's a good thing for the Royals. Gordon's 3 for 3 in steals.
That fastball had movement on it. 1-1 on Merrifield.
Throws sliders to righties. And he'll double up with them. It's a little hop move there. His catcher Cameron Rupp, he's thrown out 5 of 29 base stealers this year for a 17.2%. Not the best mark, but you got to get some help from your starting pitchers.
Hard slider away, 1-2. And Merrifield still loosening up in the batter's box. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The pitch was way in on Witt. We saw that hit and run that he put on there in St. Louis. That ball was 4 or 5 inches inside. He kept his hands inside and shot the ball to right. He's really good at going to the opposite field, especially in a situation like this. You get that base hit to right field,
Then you give that base runner at first a chance to go all the way to third, depending on how hard you hit it. Borges has a pretty good arm out there and right.
Changeup. So Velasquez showed Merrifield all of his pitches and gets his first strikeout. Now Kendrys Morales and our Kubota power stats, which just seem to improve every night. Going back to June 25th, Kendrys Morales has the best batting average, the most home runs, the most runs driven in, and the highest slugging percentage in the major leagues. And if you go back almost a month further than that, after Morales sat out 4 games with a sore finger, he's also among the league leaders in all those categories as well.
Little off-speed pitch now. So far, Velasquez isn't pitching like his scouting report says. His scouting report is he's aggressive with his fastball. He comes right at you, you know, and so far he hasn't really shown that aggression. He's using his changeup and sliders.
1-1 on Morales.
Come on, Vince.
During that 8-game span where Morales is hitting .600, were 6 home runs and 10 RBIs. No other player has done that in 12 years. The last major league player to hit .600 with 6 or more home runs and 10 or more RBIs in an 8-game span was Barry Bonds back in 2004.
Wow, that's impressive. Can we please get a player of the week? Hello. Those are King Kong numbers. That's right. So far, Velasquez, we're seeing a soft tossing Velasquez.
He's pitching more like Aaron Nola did last night,
which is not a good thing for him.
And Morales will take the walk.
Smart pitching, really. Why would you challenge a guy like this? He's got 1 out. Now it's up to Hosmer now to keep the opponents from walking Morales. Start doing something about it. He'll get better pitches to hit. Phillies defense, Odubel Herrera, 7 outfield assists. He has a strong arm. He's like our Gerard Dyson with 7 outfield assists. Good player. Got some pop too.
Hosmer is 2 out of 8 in this series with a double. Looking to drive in his first run on this trip. 91. No balls and 1 strike.
You know, there haven't been many guys on base. Morales has been cleaning the bases with his hits. But Haas has plenty of potential. Nice to be struggling hitting .304.
One ball, 1 strike.
It's the most velocity we've seen out of his 16 pitches, 92.
Hard slider in on him. And that's all Eric Hosmer has really seen in the last month. 1 inside pitch after another, whether it's fastballs or sliders like that one.
They're going to stay there. If he keeps continuing to swing off the plate, they're not going to change. They might go way away on him.
On the ground to Howard, he bobbles, and Galvis was just able to keep his foot on the bag. The feed was not very good, but Galvis reaching and stretching at the same time for the force on Morales.
A little bit hot to handle. I don't know if they'd have gotten Haas anyway, but good job by Galvis to staying on that bag. So for Hosmer, either he lays off of those pitches and makes them throw strikes, or you start hitting that ball out of the park, and that'll get them away from throwing you inside. But Haas's swing is really not designed for those inside heaters, although he can hit them. He's more middle away.
Chesler Cuthbert. That's a high slider. Now Cuthbert isn't hitting like Morales has been lately, but he does have 10 runs driven in his last 10 games. One and one. Didn't get the call. Hanging breaking ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Toby Basner is today's home plate umpire.
Sitting 2. Ooh, guessing there. 241 hitter with a runner in scoring position.
.22 pitches to this point for Velasquez. A little slow roller up the third base side. So maybe we're not seeing Velasquez's best fastball yet, but he's got a good one. He throws it often, almost 70% of the time, and opponents are hitting just .224 against his fastball. We also haven't seen a lot of fastballs from him. He's thrown a lot of sliders as well. So against a team like the Royals, who love the fastball, he said to change his approach.
And maybe he's doing that on purpose. We'll see.
And with that, a fastball, 93 miles an hour. So in all 3 games, the Royals have had 2 runners in the first inning, but come up empty. Inning, and now Yordano Ventura makes his 16th start of the year, his 2nd since returning from the 8-game suspension following the brawl with the Orioles. And Yordano got knocked around by the Cardinals on Tuesday at Kauffman Stadium. St. Louis won that game 8-4.
Now he has an above-average fastball. We all know that. He's averaging 95.4 miles an hour on that pitch. But you know, with that 5 ERA like that, tells me they're hitting that pitch pretty often. So he's got to be able to get that curveball over and use it more. He didn't use it as much in his last start. Previous two, he did, and he had a lot of success with that. So he's got to bring that in, and Drew Butera is going to be doing the signal calling and his battery mate this afternoon. He's got also has a changeup, but that big pitch for him is going to be to get that curve over.
Ball 1 to Herrera. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. And that's the number that HUD was talking about when we first came on the air. Previous 3 starts, Ventura threw the ball very well with very good results, and he was throwing his curveball about once every 3 pitches, and that dropped off significantly in his game against the Cardinals.
So the hitter starts looking for the straight fastball, and they all hit it. And that doesn't matter how hard you throw it. You could average 100 miles an hour on your fastball. If it's in the middle, they're going to hit it. They just shorten up their swing and put it in play. The ball jumps. There it is. It's a good breaking ball. You have to show that to that hitter, so it's in the back of his mind. But everything revolves around the fastball, and when you have an above average pitch fastball like Ventura's, you go ahead and establish that and then start yakking them. Yak is another word for a curve, a hitter says. Goes back to the dugout, he says he's got a good yacker.
It's also a big animal too, isn't it? A yak? Big furry animal?
Yeah, I think so. We saw him on Goldberg's
like a
pregame.
wildebeest?
Yeah, I thought Goldberg's pregame show we saw that yak. Oh, he's a fanatic. That's right.
Herrera was right in the middle of it offensively when the Phillies won on Friday 4-3. That'll be out of play. And then he was quiet last night. He went 0 for 4 and the Royals won 6-2. And there are certain players on every team. Good teams have more than one, but talking with people with the Phillies before the game on Friday, they basically said how Herrera goes, so goes the Phillies offensively.
We saw that in game 1. He carried the team.
Ventura gets a little spinner back to him, and Herrera is out. Philadelphia Phillies have really struggled at home offensively. As in, they have the fewest runs per game at home of any major league team, which is surprising playing in a ballpark like this one. But as Borges grounds one into center field, some believe that the Phillies should have a similar approach to the Royals, more of a line drive approach, but are tempted to swing for the fences when they're at home.
Or you would be in this ballpark, especially taking BP here, watching that ball going 20-30 rows deep. But that's something they'll have to deal with, just like Borges. That swing that Borges just took, we saw him in yesterday's game hit that ball off the center field wall with a short, compact swing. That's the swing you want. Borges has good speed as well.
And now the former Cornhusker, Cody Ashe. He started in left field in game 1. And was 1 for 3 with an RBI double. There you go. Some of the ranks for the Phillies here at home. And Citizens Bank Park, most of the time, is kind of like Coors Field, where it can take a bad offense and make them mediocre, and it can take a mediocre offense and make them pretty good, at least in the home games. But that has not happened for the Phillies at home this year. They're down around the bottom in all the major offensive categories. Broken bat, no chance for a double play. So Ashe is out, number 2, and Borges is back to first.
Royals defense sponsored by Ford. Kendrys Morales. Many people out there, when they put him in right, when Ned Yost did, they said, what? You're going to let him play right? Yeah, you want to get 3 or 4 at-bats out of him. That's why he only had 1 ball that he misjudged in that Cardinal game, but Other than that, he made one spectacular winning play on Carpenter. He's done a good job, and that's really all they want him to do. This ballpark here, very shallow right field. There's not a whole lot of ground to cover. This is a good spot for him to play in. Good athlete. He works. It's been a huge addition in these National League parks.
Hanging breaking ball, and Franco gets it through the hole on the left side. Maikel Franco is 5 for 8 in this series, and the Royals were shifted that way, so he didn't have a whole lot to work with on the left side of the infield.
Nah, but that ball's up, and you know when it starts around your head and you're a hitter, you see it big. And that ball had eyes on it. Speaking of seeing, it just went right where he wanted it to.
And now Cameron Rupp, who's hit in his last 8 games.
He's got nice numbers, but with runners in scoring position, just 133. Hasn't been very productive in that area.
He had a good night on Friday, 2 doubles and a single. Carlos Ruiz was behind the plate for the Phillies last night. So the Royals had 2 on in the first inning and failed to score. Now the Phillies have 2 on in the bottom of the first. Breaking ball catches the outside, 1-1 on Rupp. Good location, and 98. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was paint. Lucky to just get a foul ball on that even. Ventura using that as a nice downhill angle on that pitch.
That pitch stayed up, and Cameron Rupp turns it into a 3-run home run.
You got to credit Rupp for that pitch. That ball was up, way out of the zone. Butera wanted it down, but that ball is right under the letters. He just waited, was quick with his swing. But you notice he didn't even take a stride. He just used his hands. That's how you approach a fastball at that velocity. And it was already elevated, so all he had to do was put a nice, easy swing on it. And that was a nice homer for his 8th.
Howard didn't get a full swing, and Ventura will take care of him. But with 2 outs and 2 strikes, Cameron Rupp gives the Phillies a 3-0 lead. with 2 outs, homers, and gives the Phillies a 3-0 lead. Alcides Escobar, Gerard Dyson, and Drew Butera are coming up. Eski's our most trusted player, brought to you by Honda. And he carries a 13-game hitting streak into today's game. Second longest in the major leagues, behind the Dodgers' young shortstop Corey Seager. Escobar has reached base safely in 18 straight, and that's a career high for him. Way inside. Tremendous movement on that pitch. 0-1 to Escobar.
And you know, if he continues to stay healthy Velasquez, and he's obviously not showing his mid to upper 90s fastball, still can be successful. But you got to wonder why we're not seeing that early in the game, that velocity. But sometimes, you know, you get more movement when you don't throw as hard. Escobar stay up the middle.
Got him to pull a slider. Franco showing off some range on the left side. 1 away.
Range and arm. They've got a couple of nice players to build around for their future, and that's what this team is doing. They're going to use some of the talent they have in the minors. They've got some pretty good players down there.
Got a couple of guys at AAA that'll be part of the core here, and they also have 2 players at AA who have both hit more than 20 home runs already.
You know, you hope the rebuilding process goes faster than it does. People and fans have a hard time being patient, especially the Royals fans, and you taught me that 5 years ago not to use that word, patience. And they've had enough. With the Philly fans here, they understand what's going on. Might take them 2 or 3 years.
Herrera into deep left center field to take care of Dyson.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Drew Butera gets the call today, and it is timed out. The last few days that Ned Yost has wanted to rest Salvador Perez, that Yordano Ventura has been on the mound. So Butera and Ventura have worked quite a bit, as they do today.
Hitting over 300, playing once a week, almost unheard of. Good job for him. Shorting him up on the bat, choking up, being selective. It's just his 16th start. It's his 25th game he's been in, but it's his 16th start, and he's doing a fine job with the pitchers. Having a heck of a year behind Salvi. It's hard to find a good backup catcher like Butera's putting on this year.
Borges puts the sunglasses down as he goes into the right field corner. So his offense gives him 3 runs, and in the next half inning, Velasquez has a 1-2-3 inning.
Goldberg down by the Royals dugout. The 2 starts for Yordano Ventura after or before the suspension, very good, but the last start 7 runs, and maybe there was some rust, but Dave Island says more than anything, it was mechanical.
The thing with him was this last start, he had an inconsistent arm slot. He was really dropping his arm a lot, getting underneath the ball and kind of pushing the ball. That was making everything flatten out, and every hit he gave up was when that arm slot would drop and he'd push the ball and everything was flat. Like in the first inning when his arm was up where it needed to be and he was driving the ball downhill, you know, then it was you know, they had no chance. But again, it gets his arm slot right where it needs to be and stays with himself. He's going to be fine.
In that first inning against St. Louis, he went 1-2-3, got into trouble though in the second inning. Now he'll need to settle down after the first.
And we'll see how Morales fights the sun, and he handles that fly ball off the bat of Freddie Galvis. So here is that last start, and as Joel said, 1-2-3 first inning, but he really had to battle the rest of the game. High stress innings the rest of the game, and Cardinals hit a lot of balls hard. Even the outs were hit hard.
Yeah, but like Dave was talking about, Ventura's not used to throwing with, you know, more of a low 3/4 slot because hitters can see that better, and like you said, it flattens the ball out and it makes it easier to hit and see. When you're giving it to him like that, he's not going to miss.
All right, so let's talk about, and I'll begin, the differences between where Danny Duffy is right now and where Yordano Ventura is. And we hear, and it's kind of a funny sports term, but it makes sense, staying within yourself, as if there's another option. But I will suggest to you that Ventura on that 1-2 pitch to Cameron Rupp tried to reach back for a little extra, and maybe the pitch flattened out a little bit. It was 98 miles an hour. You got to give the hitter credit if he hits 98 miles an hour.
Right.
Where I think Danny Duffy at this point of his career, the count is 1-2. The catcher calls for a fastball, and he's just trying to hit his spot. As Ventura gets a strikeout with a breaking ball. He is staying, as you use the word, poised and within himself more now than Yordano Ventura is.
Yeah, I agree totally. And let's watch his homer again.
Look where the target is.
Yeah, and look at his shoulder. You see how Ventura's shoulder flew open and that arm was flat. And, you know, Rupp with a perfect swing on that pitch there. He just attacked it with a good, easy swing and caught the back underside. But Ventura and Duffy are 2 different guys. I'm going to use the word confidence, too. Duffy's a more confident pitcher. He's had more success here recently, so he's on a wave. He's riding a good wave right now. And Ventura's trying to find it.
Nice bounce back for him. Phillies go down in order, and now at the end of 2, Philadelphia leads 3-0. That'll be a popular place tomorrow. Independence Hall here in Philadelphia. Both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were signed inside of Independence Hall. Tomorrow being Independence Day. Giordano Ventura, Alex Gordon, and Whit Merrifield. I thought you brought up a good point about Velasquez swinging at the first pitch against Ventura in the bottom of the second inning.
Yeah, you want to tax the pitch count of your competitor out there. So why would you put the ball in play on the first pitch when you can just stand there and look at three of them? You know, you're not expected to hit anything. At least see some pitches and you know, milk his pitch count. But you know, these guys don't get a chance to hit all that often, and they get anxious and they think the fastball is coming early, and it gives them a better chance to square it up.
And they don't want to strike out.
Right.
So the first thing close they want to put in play. Not a bad swing by Ventura.
It's a little more controlled than the first one.
Giordano hits for the first time this year. He is 1 out of 10 with a single in his big league career. How about that? Pitch way outside, down in the count, and he slaps it up the right field line, and his teammates love it.
2 for 11. He's closing in on 300. Look at Volke over there rooting him on. This is just what you want to do. That ball's way outside. You see that back leg? That back leg fell out. Watch it. Watch his back foot. It's kind of, you know, got his balance, but he had to reach for it because it'll get you off balance reaching for a ball like that. But he's able to catch his balance with that back leg. Good swing.
Now strike to Gordon. Now Ventura does everything with a little bit of a flair. You know, he's got that leg swipe after he pitches. He's got that little sidearm throw to first when he handles a comebacker. Did you see the little bat twirl after his follow through?
No, I missed it. Maybe show it again.
Inside to Alex. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex single to left center field his first time up after falling behind in the count. Broken bat. And Ventura tagged out by the second baseman Hernandez, and then Gordon is thrown out for a 4-3 double play.
Yeah, Ventura not getting a chance to run the bases ever, hardly at all. This is the second time. You know, just keep running through the base. That's a natural reaction. But for a position player, though, you're going to stop, make him throw to first, you know, but you don't have that kind of experience.
Right.
So we don't want to get him hurt. Just did exactly what he's supposed to do there. It's okay.
Is he all right?
Sure hope so.
He's grabbing his right leg. Merrifield takes a big curveball for his strike. Velasquez struck him out with a changeup in the first inning.
Well, those are the things you worry about. Pitchers on the bases. Pitchers hitting. You know, they changed the rules for the catcher. The catcher, they're protecting the catcher now so they don't get hurt. Second baseman, they changed the rules so the second baseman doesn't get hurt.
Let's watch his right leg.
Yeah. So
right.
he's not
Ooh,
he twisted his right
ankle.
ankle. Right there. Saw it. See? So why not just make a universal DH and protect the pitchers so they don't have to hit or run the bases?
Well, if you can convince 15 other teams to do that.
Well, they're doing it to, you know, they're protecting the catcher and the pitcher. Why not take care of 90% of the game, the pitcher? How many pitchers do you see get hurt a year? I mean, a lot. There's a handful of guys that go down on the bases or get hit by a pitch, and now they're having to find another pitcher. come to a ball game, you want to watch your starter pitch. It's a tremendous art to have.
Okay, so just to play the other side of that debate, so you don't get too caught up in the moment.
I'm a little worked up right now.
What about 1878 to 1973? Pitchers seem to handle swinging the bat and running the bases all right.
Yeah, but when they went to the bank on the 1st and 15th, it was nowhere near what they're going to now. So there's the difference.
Is brought to you by Chevy. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 KC Metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low prices every day. Well, the Royals are very fortunate that Yordano Ventura is back out there, but he's still favoring that right leg. You can tell. And he's still just getting up on the mound. Looks like he's sore. Now watch his right leg right here. He's lucky he didn't break his ankle.
No, that's a really tough turn. So you wonder if they taped it quickly and he's out there, but I guarantee you Dylan G's out there warming up, not just to play catch.
So for a right-hand pitcher, that's his back leg, and for a power pitcher, you're using that back leg to really drive. And I imagine that right ankle is throbbing.
Oh, especially having to get over on a ball.
Herrera's out. He is 0 for 2.
Yeah, you get over and got to cover first base. That'll be a little tester for him, and then you wonder if he'll be able to hit next time up. You can see he's limping. I mean, that was a nasty roll there. And getting back to my point, the last time he ran the bases was a year ago.
Now the concern here, and you say, okay, well, his ankle's sore, whatever, as long as his arm's okay. There's one hop to Merrifield, and Borges is out. But the concern here is because of his ankle that he tries to compensate with his mechanics, and then he does injure his arm, and there is Exhibit A right there. Chien-Ming Wang was one of the best pitchers in the American League. He won 19 games in back-to-back years with the Yankees, and he injured himself running the bases. He hurt his foot. He changed his mechanics to compensate and blew out his shoulder, and that wiped about parts of 3 or 4 seasons out of his professional career. Not to be over dramatic, but at the same time, I'll bet that's a big concern right now for Dave Island in the Royals dugout. Because Dave Island was Chien-Ming Wang's pitching coach in New York when that happened.
And really good for Ventura or any other pitcher to have a World Championship coach with the Yankees and now with the Royals that has gone through that experience. It's nice to have somebody who's been there. So Dave will be a great source of information for Ned. But you know, maybe just at least the pitches I'm seeing in this inning, it's calmed Ventura down. He's not flinging his legs as much. You know, he's pitching more controlled. I think he's just taking it easy, knowing that he may not be long for this one. So he's not swinging that right leg up as much.
He's still limping. He looks all right throwing the ball. It's his movements in between pitches.
Good luck. You know, as bad as it may sound, I mean, if you're the opponent, you might want to get a bunt down or something, or try to make him come off the mound. I mean, you know, you're competing. You're playing for money. It's for keeps here. So if you see a guy like that and just twisted his ankle, you know, test him. It's not amateur ball. Oh.
Cody Ashe hits it into the second deck in right field. And the Phillies have hit 2 home runs today. And their lead is 4-0. Both home runs coming with 2 outs. Might be it for Ventura. I don't know if there's anything Ventura could say here to stay into the game.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's worth the risk of leaving him in. You know, they got to check that thing out, and you know, is it worth it for one start? I mean, there's plenty of time. I mean, the Royals are going to come back and win this one. I got a good feeling they are, but at what expense? Yeah, he's taking the ball from him. You notice that? Manager Ned Yost reached in and took the ball. Ventura didn't give it to him. That's a competitor right there.
Sometimes you have to believe what you see.
That's right.
And so Yordano Ventura may have told Kyle Turner and Ned Yost that he's all right, but what you see is a guy limping around the mound in between pitches.
And that's not something that you want, especially with your future star. Current star. He's a world champion. Ventura.
Yeah, he's having a tough time going down the stairs.
Good move by Ned.
Yep.
Nicely done.
Yep. He's marking it up already as the Royals make a pitching change with 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's Yordano Ventura running the bases in the top of the third. Watch that right ankle.
Oh, yeah, that's tough to look at. Okay, now look now. He started that way, but you can just tell that hurt him. That's many of you folks out there have rolled your ankle before, and it's especially if you tweak those ligaments, you stretch them out a little bit, it's going to swell on you.
Chevy called to the bullpen. Dylan G comes on with 2 down and nobody on right after the home run to Cody Ashe. So Dylan will be making his 13th relief appearance. He's also made 4 starts. And we bring in Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and I was using Chin-Ming Wong as an example of how a foot injury can lead to an arm injury.
Yeah, and that's I guess the concern is when you're not 100%, especially for a pitcher with your right side, your drive leg, you're going to do some things to compensate to try to get that velocity, try to get that action you need to get, and oftentimes it leads to some type of another injury, whether it be in your lower back or it be your shoulder, your elbow, whatever it might be. That's the scare when you're trying to compensate.
Because all those muscles and ligaments and tendons are conditioned year after year to throw a certain way, and when you're compensating, you're pulling all those in angles they're not used to.
And right, you want to be able to use the big muscles in order to get the torque and be able to get the power that you need to be effective as a pitcher. And if you don't have the ability from the lower side, it's very difficult to do.
So Ventura gives up 4 runs, 4 hits in 2 2/3 innings, including a couple of home runs. And G gets Maikel Franco. He singled with 2 outs in the first inning, and then he and Borges scored on the 3-run home run by Cameron Rupp.
G's job, just hold him there if you can. He's been reliable. We've seen him in situations like this before. He's got 4 nice pitches. If he can keep the ball down, hold him there until the opponents come back. Beautiful 3-pitch segment there. You've got to go, Franco.
Home runs lead the Royals 4-0. We hope you'll join the Royals and local business professionals for Business Day at the K coming up on July 20th. The event features a pregame presentation by Royals general manager Dayton Moore, as well as networking opportunities. And then after the game, you can watch the Royals and the Indians. Visit royals.com/business for more information and to purchase tickets to the unique event. Business day at the K. It's going to be a heck of a series. Royals and the Indians at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals swept a 3-game series from the Indians the last time they were in town. And this will soften the blow a bit of the Royals down 4-0 so far. Cleveland happens to be down 4-0 in the 4th inning in Toronto.
I think the Royals are going to break out a little frenzy hitting here real soon. Maybe it's this inning. I don't know. But Velasquez, not the same pitcher, Monty, that the scouting report says. We haven't seen one pitch over 93.
Yeah, well, I was expecting a lot of, really high velocity, a lot of power, a lot of attack. And he's really almost seemingly dialing it up and dialing it back when he wants to, but doesn't reach those top limits like we expected.
That swing by Morales right there tells me Morales is looking soft. And he got fooled by that high fastball. So they can already tell that the scouting report has gone in that dugout.
And that was 89 miles an hour. Velasquez has struck out 4. And that'll bring up Eric Hosmer. And Velasquez, like just about every pitcher in either league right now, just threw one inside pitch after another to Hosmer when he grounded out in the 1st inning. That's out over the plate and fouled away.
The softer the pitcher throws, the more you got to think other way. Helps you wait longer. Good try.
Franco throws him out. You boys ready for some trivia?
I think we can handle it.
Our sprint trivia question: name the 4 Phillies to win a Cy Young Award.
Okay.
Got to start with lefty, don't you?
Sure you do.
Okay. Steve Carlton. Roy Halladay.
Yep. There's 2.
Robin Roberts.
It's good. It's a Hall of Famer.
Jim Bunning. By the way, all that talk about you taking Pete Rose's number, Velasquez got his glove on it and then couldn't find it, and it's not in time. Cuthbert is on with 2 outs. Going to give him a base hit.
All the way. Tom Hallion, first base umpire, liked how casually he just made that call. He saw it and just said he's safe. He beat it. Good job by Cuthbert. He'll take it. I'm not sure they throw him out if Velasquez can't get a glove on that. That might have been up the middle.
But all that talk about you not wanting Pete Rose's number?
No, I wanted his number.
Okay, but whether you should take it or not?
It wasn't.
That was number 14, right?
Right.
That's also Jim Bunning's number, which is now retired.
Right. But then Frank Koppenbacher, their longtime equipment man, when he called me in the offseason after I signed with the Phillies, he said, "What number do you want?" I said, "What number did Pete Rose wear?" He says, 14. I said, "How come it's not retired?" "We only retire Hall of Fame numbers." And so I said, "Okay."
Ouch.
Yeah, that was a little, And then later, they retired it. But Matt Bennett, no, not Matt Bennett, Gary Bennett,
Catcher.
came after me the year after. And I told Terry Francona when I took the jersey off after my 10-year anniversary in the majors and handed that 14 number to Terry Francona, I said, "Tito, when you hand this jersey to the next young punk, you tell him he could never take it from me. I'm giving it to him." Bennett took it.
You normally talk that disrespectfully to your managers?
You know what? It was a passionate moment for me. There's no doubt. I mean, I worked hard 10 years in the minors. I wanted 10 years in the majors. And that day after is when I went in there, the day after my anniversary. I told him, thank you so much for the 2-year deal you gave me. Sorry I played terrible for you. But I'm a fulfilled player now. Special moment. See if the Royals can capitalize. That's we might get a gapper. Move something soft out over.
No swing. 3-2. That was your first manager, right, Bonnie?
It was, yes.
One of your boyhood idols.
He was my
Pete
boyhood.
Rose.
I tried to play like Rex Hudler. I mean, Pete Rose when I grew up.
Yeah, but Monty, what a character, huh? How fun was that? Hoping you'll tell that story about Pete at the clubhouse meeting they had. 2 outs, though. 3 now.
Well, maybe he doesn't have his best fastball, but Velasquez has struck out 5 in 4 scoreless innings. Three innings, both off of Yordano Ventura, who left with an injury. So 4-0 as the Phillies come up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. Steven Strasburg is back from the disabled list with a back issue. Starting at home against the Reds, no runs, no hits in 4 innings. He has walked 3. He's 10-0 this year. And the Nationals have a 5-game lead over the Mets in the East. Dylan G, after Ventura left with what appeared to be a right ankle injury, faced Maikel Franco and struck him out on 3 straight pitches, and now he's 0-1 against Cameron Rupp, who hit a 3-run home run with the count 1-2 and 2 outs in the bottom of the 1st inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. What differences, we had this conversation in the 2nd inning, Monty, what differences as far as the last fine-tuning of Danny Duffy versus Yordano Ventura do you see? Cuthbert throws out Rupp, 1 away.
I remember earlier in Danny's career when he would have an outstanding game. Oftentimes Joel and I would have him on the pregame show, or maybe hearing Joel's interviews afterwards. I'd always hear Danny talk about how he was able to really kind of slow things down. He wasn't getting overly amped up. He wasn't huffing and puffing out on the mound. He really kind of slowed things down. And I'm seeing a lot more consistent Danny Duffy with that type of an approach. He's not getting too excited out there. He just seems to have everything under control, and the game's working at his pace. And it's just, I think it's more of a maturity thing. It's just something that players go through, and everybody gets to that point in their careers at different times and in different ways. But I think that's what I've really noticed more about Danny. He's just more consistently controlling the game.
Outside to Ryan Howard. He grounded back to Ventura in the first inning.
And the obvious, it's apparent that he's mastered all 3 of his pitches as well. And I mean, that makes a big difference when you're commanding 3 very quality pitches.
Good changeup there from Dylan G. Ryan Howard is hitting 147 as he bats with 1 out in the 4th inning. Another thing, and I don't know how else to articulate it other than to say this, and it's most young pitchers who are used to striking out a lot of hitters, they come to a point in their career where they decide they just want to get hitters out as opposed to wanting to embarrass hitters. Does that make sense?
If you hear Ned Yost or Dave Island talk about almost any of their pitchers, but particularly Danny Duffy, when he has a very superior outing, they always talk about the efficiency and how efficient he was during that game.
Howard jumps on a changeup and singles to right field with 1 out. I mean, maybe I'm making too much of this, but we've been paying such close attention to Danny Duffy not just being successful, but suddenly being very efficient, which has allowed him to pitch into the 8th inning and deeper into his last 3 starts. Freddie Galvis with 1 on 1 out. The home run to Cameron Rupp, and I don't want to take any of the credit away from Rupp. That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball that was up. I mean, that is, the smallest of percentages in the world of people who can do that. At the same time, Butera had a target down and away for a fastball, and it looked like Giordano wanted to reach back for a little extra and just put Cameron Rupp away, just make him look bad, and it backfired.
And using the same comparison with Danny Duffy, and it almost appears as though at times when Danny is out there, he's trying easier as opposed to trying harder, and as a result, he's really kind of turned his thing around. In the efficiency, 16 strikeouts, no walks in his last 2 starts. I mean, that's very efficient.
Well, again, it's like Morales. Morales is hot right now, and everything he sees, he hits. Duffy's in a groove like that too. He's hot. He's riding confidence. Confidence is that extra man that you take out there with you. If you don't have him, you're in trouble. And so we're seeing a hot pitcher like Danny Duffy, trying less, but he's in his groove and he's letting everything happen. Hope he continues.
Shallow left center. Dyson got a good break and takes care of Galvis. Talking with Ned Yost on our pregame radio interview, I asked him the difference between Danny Duffy and Giordano Ventura, and just like we've been saying, Duffy's staying within himself. And Ned brought up a great comparison. He said, for instance, I used to play golf a lot, and when I was a kid, I would go to the driving range and I just wanted to see how hard and how far I could hit it. So he would overswing, but most of the time he would slice it or he would hook it. Every now and then he'd get it just right. And then he thought, you know what, now I'm going to go to the driving range and I'm just going to concentrate on taking how nice and easy and smooth can I be? And he was hitting the ball just as far with fewer slices and fewer hooks. He was, quote unquote, staying within himself.
And very important for a pitcher, when you try to overthrow a baseball, things go haywire for you, whether it be mechanically or location wise.
2-1 on Hernandez. Two and two. Ventura struck him out with a curveball in the second inning. Full count. And now Butera reminds the infield that Ryan Howard will be running on this pitch. Shallow left center, and that'll drop. Howard to third. Alex with an off-balance throw, and he didn't get him. At least that's the ruling of third base umpire Dan Bellino.
Well, Cuthbert might have been a little too quick with the tag. We'll have to see. Sometimes, you know, we've seen Cuthbert with this a nice, easy little swipe tag at times, but other times you just want to lay on the runner. You know, you want to block him out, put that tag, make sure it's on him. But Cuthbert, look at Alex, an abbreviated throw back from his infield days. Watch this. He sees the play in front of him, no problem. Stayed on top of the ball. And you saw that little swipe tag by Cuthbert.
And the Royals will challenge. Do we see contact?
Not real good angles.
I don't know if we couldn't tell by either one of those.
This is where you really appreciate what Bill Duplessis and other replay coordinators do in the major leagues. He has to make a decision in 30 seconds or so, and we're still finding the right replay. We just saw one up on the video board, and I don't know about you guys, but I saw movement in Cuthbert's glove across Howard's left forearm.
I agree.
I saw a little bit of his jersey, Howard's jersey, move a little too. So see, this is the angle right here. See if you can't.
Yep.
See that?
See the glove
you
move?
See his thumb. His thumb touched him.
Got him on the elbow, I believe.
All right, we saw it there. And most of the players now, Royals are coming off the field. Great play by Alex Gordon. Again, the reason why Alex Gordon's had so many assists in his Gold Glove career is that he's able to throw on the run like that with accuracy, staying on top of the ball, throwing directly down and using the one hopper. He didn't wind up and throw, he just used a quick release.
Why is it taking this long?
Sometimes if an infielder knows he misses the tag, he'll go back and try to re-tag, and that tells the umpire that he missed him. But Cuthbert, he didn't even think twice. He said he got him.
Why is it taking this long?
I don't know, Juan Samuel right in the middle of that. How about Samuel? What a player in his day, Monty. That guy was a gamer. He hustled.
Teammate of yours, wasn't he, Monty?
Yeah, he was a teammate here in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that guy, I hated to defend him. He ran 110% down that line every time he hit the ball to me. And I freaked out. I was like, oh, my gosh. And it goosed the throw.
He
was a bad throw on him.
Outstanding teammate.
Yeah, he is.
Got it right. Bill Duplessis got it about 2 minutes before the umpire in New York, but who's keeping track?
very good baseball as we see here. Too many a Mazda game break. Or how about the Mets, though? Yoenis Cespedes. 5-1. Yeah, I didn't have Cespedes used to play for the Tigers.
Right.
All right, the mine's
I got
off.
the connection.
You get the connection?
So did Granderson.
I'm glad that you could read that. Anyway, the Cubs, by the way, are struggling right now. And John Lester, 8 earned runs in an inning and a third. That's what we were trying to say. Hey, you guys were talking about Danny Duffy and what he was able to do. His pitching coach back in 2011 was Bob McClure. And talking to Bob McClure today, he was absolutely amazed at what he saw last night because he hasn't seen Danny Duffy in a long time. And he said he's just a guy that was more composed. He had his secondary pitches working. And you talked about efficiency, guys. He said he was pounding the zone. He just looks like a more mature pitcher, more exceptional, not overwhelmed by anything. So high praise. Bob McClure saying that is the best that I have ever seen Danny Duffy look.
Rupp can't quite hang on to it. Still no balls, 2 strikes. So we've seen the starts leading up to last night and seeing the steady improvement. But you can imagine Bob McClure last seeing Danny Duffy in 2011 and then the big leap forward in his mind. Strike 3 with a fastball. That's 6 strikeouts for Velasquez in 4 1/3 innings.
Got great life on that fastball. Started out on the inside part, came right back to the inside part of the plate, Hud.
Yeah, we saw him last inning pump it up a little bit. We saw a 95. I don't know if there was a 97 in there, but
saw 96 too. So,
yeah,
so he's getting loose.
He is. Early in the game, he's around the low 90s. Pitching, not throwing.
Oh, and 1 on Drew Butera. He flied out to right field in the 2nd inning.
But I'm seeing some maturity in this young pitcher here. I mean, if he's able to come out and most young guys want to throw it hard right by you, but he had a visit from the manager and the training staff in the 1st inning, did Velasquez, and there was some concern. Maybe there was something wrong because they were looking at the same radar gun. But he's settled in.
Salvi's giving away a souvenir. There you go. Picked out a young Royals fan.
It was great before the game. You guys were messing with the fanatic. And then Salvi not playing today, he was messing with him too. I was cracking up here. But you guys had a good time with him, huh, Monty?
Salvi had a blast with him for sure. Stole the keys to his cart or 4Runner, whatever that thing is he drives around.
A little 4-wheel drive cart. he was messing with Joel.
Joel's originally from here, so he was a big Phillies fan, and then his family moved to Chicago.
And Salvi gave him a little water splash. Yeah. See, now it's on. The fanatic was like, "What? What are you doing?" And then he pays him back. What was that? Well, some confetti or something?
Yeah.
That's great.
Just got the official announcement that Yordano Ventura indeed left today's game with a left ankle sprain.
Butera's battling him. I like it. He's up there getting his money's worth. He's confident. He's shorting up on his swing and just trying to put it in play.
It's been great to see Drew's advancement with the bat. He's always been a great catch and throw guy, but seems to be really comfortable at the plate this year.
Hitting .296. He has 16 hits. 9 have been for extra bases. So his slugging percentage is up over 500.
He's fouling him off down the right field line. He's pulling him foul now. Hopefully he can split the difference. Use that huge hole up the middle.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here you go, Monty. Drew Butera's career slugging percentage was .252 coming into this year, and now it's up over .500, to your point of his advancement as a hitter. He's having a good at-bat here against Velasquez.
Taking pitches, he's becoming more and more confident each pitch, seeing more pitches. That's the idea for you, if you, especially if you're playing once a week.
Nice job. Coming back from 0-2. That's the second walk for Velasquez.
9-pitch AB and you win it like that on a pitch that was boring inside. If you swing at that, you miss it or you top it. Great plate appearance.
And now Dylan G, who before this year spent his entire career in the National League, so he's had 193 at-bats. Fastball for strike 1. Now he wants to drop down a bunt. And he does. So a 1-out sacrifice, making sure he doesn't ground into a double play, and gets a runner into scoring position. And give Alex Gordon a chance to drive in Butera.
27th career sacrifice bunt. Well done.
I'm sure this didn't apply to you, Monty, being in the American League and being a reliever, but do pitchers hit in the offseason? Do they work on their bunting? I mean, not much is expected from them, but I mean, do guys take swings and try and go into the next year being a little better hitter and a little better bunter?
Not in the offseason, I don't think guys do. In spring training on National League teams, they do a lot of bunting, in the cages particularly.
High and deep to right field. Alex Gordon cuts the deficit in half. And he hits a second deck home run.
Great swing and a perfect walk plate appearance by Butera. Alex Gordon gets an easy swing. Second hit of the day. That one base hit to left field, I think it got him locked. Talk about going to the opposite field, how it helps you react quicker in. Good example right here, right down the middle. Beautiful stroke. Nice follow through too.
Got to be a good feeling for Alex to be able to get things going. He's been struggling at the plate lately. Royals certainly need him to catch fire here soon.
All of the runs today have been on home runs. Phillies have 2. One from Rupp, one from Ashe, and now Alex Gordon. So they're celebrating in Lincoln as a couple of former left-hand hitting third basemen have gone deep in this game. Cornhusker, left-hand hitting third baseman. Right to Galvis at short. Close and just out as Merrifield runs hard up the line. With 2 down, Alex Gordon hits a 2-run home run. And now the Royals are down by 2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. So 2-run home run in the 5th inning, and now the Royals are down by 2. You can cement your memories forever with a championship legacy brick. Create a personalized message that includes the 2015 World Series Champions logo. Your brick will then be installed in the ground outside of the stadium gates. And a portion of the proceeds go back to support Royals charities. So to order yours today, go to royals.com/bricks or call 877 KCR bricks, and that's with an X. Ryan Howard, by making the last out at third base in the 4th inning, means that Velasquez leads off the 5th. And before I can tell you, Velasquez shows you that he can swing the bat. He is the rare switch hitting pitcher. He's also ambidextrous. He was hitting .286 before that line out to Dyson in center field. I'll bet he hits in the offseason.
Now there's a select few guys who are good hitters that maybe take some swings in the offseason.
Okay, well, so
but if you get hurt and you hurt yourself and you report to your front office and you say, hey, look, I got an issue. Well, how'd you do it? Swinging. What were you swinging for? You're not going to hit. You're going to get maybe 50 at bats the whole season. We don't want you doing that. That's what they'll tell you.
But aren't you more likely to get hurt by taking fewer swings? You're not swinging a lot, and then you get in a game and adrenaline takes over, the moment takes over. How many American League pitchers have we seen that haven't hit, and then they get in a game and they take the biggest swing that they've taken in 7 years? Aren't you more likely to get hurt?
I would agree with that, yes.
I think so, but look, pitching is so hard, and their focus hitting's hard. I mean, you're either one or the other.
Well, I'm not talking about winning a batting title, Hud. I'm talking about and this is not a rhetorical question. You guys can tell me that I've lost my mind and I won't be offended. But some people will debate how athletic some pitchers are, and that's fine. That's not what this discussion's about. But you're athletic enough to get to the highest level of baseball. Can't you in the offseason help yourself go from a 109 hitter to maybe a 189 hitter, or cut down on your strikeouts by taking a few more swings instead of showing up in spring training and you haven't had an at bat in 6 months and then expect to hit the best pitchers in the world?
Well, the one thing I will say about hitting as a pitcher, it made me a better pitcher. The more I hit, the better pitcher I was. It made me recognize how difficult it is to hit pitching. And as a result, you become more aggressive. You have that belief that, hey, the best are going to make outs almost 7 out of 10 times. So that made me a better pitcher, just realizing how difficult hitting is.
Herrera gets his first hit since Friday night, and he's on with 1 out.
Okay, well,
but I'll trust you. You played 10 years in the big leagues.
But I'm just going to say, in the offseason, you're accountable. You have to be accountable. If you get injured while you're just practicing, so you can improve, by 10 points as you're a pitcher, it's not that big a deal. If you get injured and you can't pitch, now you're in trouble. The front office is going to come down on you, and so you need to. If you're going to hit all the time, maybe you call, but they know if you're a good hitter, like Fernando Valenzuela, Robinson. Don Robinson was a great hitter. Baumgartner. I think the organization is going to look the other way when they hit, because they're natural type hitters. But if you're a guy that's not comfortable hitting, I don't think they're going to waste the chance to get an injury or something by trying to improve a few points. I don't think it means that much to them and the organization.
Okay.
That's my point.
All right.
But I want to get back to the base running. Base running is something that you don't work on all that much if you're a pitcher. And we witnessed it today. Ventura, ground ball to the second baseman. Second baseman comes to tag him. He tries to avoid himself, and he rolls his ankle badly. That's where most pitchers get hurt, is on the bases. And you can't ask Ventura to slow down and stop. I mean, he's a competitor. He wants to beat it. That's the natural tendency on that particular play.
So could you make base running then part of your off-season conditioning? Because that's something you can tie into together.
Absolutely. I would agree with that for sure. You could do that because it is part of your conditioning, and that's how you're going to run that's how you're going to, you're going to run the bases in a game. So you're simulating game action.
Herrera runs, and that's ball 4. So the Phillies have 2 on with 1 out. Middle of the order coming up, beginning with Cody Ashe. Let's go to Joel.
Ryan, you talked on Friday night about the similarities between Cody Ashe, the former third baseman going to left field, going down to the minors, and Alex Gordon. It might as well be Nebraska Day here at Citizens Bank Park, as both former Cornhuskers have homered. In the case of Cody Ashe, he was telling me he grew up in St. Louis, but his parents were both from small towns in Nebraska. It was always his dream to be a Husker, and Alex Gordon was the guy that he watched. He said to have a guy like Alex Gordon get drafted so high really put Nebraska on the map. He wanted to be like Alex Gordon, and now he's a guy that he learns from. Last offseason, he now lives in Lincoln, spent quite a bit of time hitting in the offseason with Alex Gordon. Really looks up to the Royals left fielder.
That's a good guy to look up to. On the ground to Hosmer. The play is to first, and the Royals get the second out. Herrera goes to third, and Borges moves up to second base. So here's a big point in the game right here. The Royals just scored 2 runs to turn a 4-0 game into a 4-2 game. And the last thing Dylan G wants to do is allow the Phillies to get those runs back. And Maikel Franco, the Phillies' best hitter, comes up with 2 runners in scoring position. Franco has singled and scored in the game today, and he has 5 hits in the series.
.328 average with runners in scoring position. Got to be careful.
I'll be very surprised if Dylan G gives him anything that he can do any damage with.
First one up, just keep it out of the middle.
Changeup.
How does Franco's swing remind you of anybody you played with?
Played with
Vladimir.
Oh, I didn't play with him, but I broadcasted his games. Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero. Yeah, he's. I think Franco has a little bit better plate discipline than Vladdy did. Vladdy swung at everything.
But he's got a very unorthodox swing, and that bat gets through the strike zone in a hurry. Tremendous bat speed.
Let's see how he pulls his head off a lot because he's trying to yank it. If you're a hitter in this ballpark, you want to focus in the middle of the field. You just got to stay in the middle, and then you know let the balls carry in the gaps. If you're a little bit ahead or a little bit behind it.
Almost hit Herrera.
Nice play down the line by a Royals fan.
Biggest hit today for the Phillies came with 2 outs and a 1-2 count. And that was Cameron Rupp hitting a 3-run home run against Ventura in the first. And now 2 on, 2 out, 1-2 on Franco. He wanted to, but was able to stop, according to first base umpire Tom Hallion.
I think he's doing a good job pitching him here, Monty. High and tight, you know, showing him that pitch up and then trying to stay soft and down and away on him. He's doing a good job setting him up here, looking for a big strikeout.
What do you do here, Monty?
I think he's going to throw a changeup.
Well, he wants to throw one pitch. Butera is thinking about another pitch. And this is an important point in the game, so they're going to talk it over.
That's the right thing to do. Big dig at bat. You talked about it, man. He gives up a base hit here. That's going to make it tough for the Royals to come back. Hold him down.
Fastball up and in.
Not giving in. I like that.
not allowed him to get his hands extended on anything. His arm extended.
Little tap. And the Phillies get another run. That was easily the most hittable pitch. So Franco doesn't drive one to the outfield. He doesn't drive in 2 runs. He drives in 1 with a ball that got halfway to third base.
That's the best case scenario there.
Yeah, the old swinging bunt, hard to defend that one.
Absolutely nothing you can do. None of us were thinking that way, were we? A little topper.
And now Cameron Rupp, who had a 3-run home run in the first inning. And that's a shot foul behind Borges. This was on a 1-2 pitch.
How easy was that? Giordano left his shoulder open a little bit, but Rupp just put a great short swing on it.
One and one. Rupp grounded out to third in his next at bat. He's had a good series against the Royals. He had 3 hits, including 2 doubles on Friday. And now the 3-run home run today. Merrifield out into shallow right center. And he makes a play. So the Royals get 2 in the top of the 5th. The Phillies get 1 back in the bottom of the 5th. Hot dog launchers, and then there are hot dog bazookas. Philly Fanatic was launching hot dogs into the 5th deck. T-Mobile's greater coverage of baseball. C.J. Cron. And the Angels' blowout victory at Boston last night. And C.J. Cron, 6 hits, 2 home runs, 5 driven in, 5 runs scored. The second Angel ever to go 6 for 6, 21-2. The first Angel to do that, Rex Hudler. No, you didn't do that?
No.
Okay.
Gosh. You guys are making me sound like I was a decent ball player. I was not. But this guy right here is Morales. Hopefully he can get something going. Immediately order coming up.
Morales, Hosmer, Cuthbert against Velasquez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Our Sonic Slam-It-In contestant is Beth Mills from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Beth wins $1,400. 2 balls, 1 strike. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Beth wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Velasquez did not allow a single run in the first 4 innings, and then Alex Gordon hit a 2-run home run in the 5th. 2-2 on Morales. Kendrys has walked and struck out so far against Velasquez. And at 83 pitches, Severino Gonzalez warms up in the Phillies bullpen. Velasquez went just 84 pitches in his last start, and that was after coming off the disabled list. Breaking ball down and way out of the strike zone. And that's the 7th strikeout for Velasquez. Coming up next Saturday, it's our annual Faith and Family Day at Kauffman Stadium, presented by Hobby Lobby. The event will feature a concert after the game by Casting Crowns, and a message from select Royals players and executives, as well as Scott Dawson of Safe at Home. And your ticket to the game includes the post-game concert. That's a base hit into right field for Hosmer. So he's on with 1 out. The game, by the way, next Saturday will be the Royals and the Mariners. After today, the Royals have just 7 games and then the All-Star break. Today is actually game number 81, so this is the actual midway point of the season.
First half's been a roller coaster for the Royals, hasn't it?
My goodness.
Hot and cold, but one of the things that I'm liking to see now is they're starting to play better on the road. They got to keep that up.
Let's see, the Royals went 12-6. Then they lost 12 of 14. Then they won 15 out of 10. Then there was the 8-game losing streak. And then the Royals won 8 of 9. Or 15 out of 20, excuse me. 15 out of 20 was that long stretch. So 12-6. Lose 12 out of 16. Win 15 out of 20. 8-game losing streak. And then win 8 out of 9.
And I'm going to say starting pitching, hot and cold.
I agree. Consistent.
I mean, the offense has been there for the most part of the year.
Consistent starting pitching will be the key to the second half.
Now you wonder about Ventura. How long is that going to take? As it looked bad. Unlike Brett Eibner, that ball in left center field at the K. When we saw him get injured, we had to go over it several times. We couldn't see his ankle roll, or we weren't sure what kind of injury that was. So I'll tell you, it's hard to call me, but it's much easier to see when that ankle rolls.
Cuthbert had a good swing at a fastball.
Take a look at Eibner's ankle. Watch him here. Didn't see a roll or anything. Now this one here.
Right here. Oh, man. Oh, to be young and flexible.
That's a more visible injury.
No swing.
So, Monty, we were talking about this before you came in. I got a little on my pedestal about how Major League Baseball changed the rule for the catchers to keep the catchers safe. The star players, they're paying a lot of money to. Now the second baseman, they're protecting them. Why not just make a universal DH in both leagues and protect the best commodity out there, the pitching?
It's a good point. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not a consideration based on the value of pitching and what it means to the game.
Right.
A lot of National League cities that wouldn't be very happy.
I was going to say the commissioner has said that that's not a priority for him right now to have universal rules. But most people seem to think that if that day comes and they go universal, that it's going to be DH instead of no DH. Didn't mean to do it. And it's caught by Franco.
I would have thought the shortstop would have priority on that ball.
You would think. Franco said, look, I got it. Taking it. Jam shot. I've seen those fall for base hits. There was a little communication there.
Got a call for it.
He backed off, shortstop did. There must have been a call.
Bob McClure out to have a chat with Velasquez, the former Royal Bob McClure and former Royals pitching coach. The Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. The next stop is in Springfield on July 9th. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to Kauffman Stadium. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. Two down to Escobar with Hosmer at first base. Escobar is hitless so far. He is grounded to third and struck out. He has a 13-game hitting streak. His career high is 17, which actually covered 2 seasons, the end of 2014 through the beginning of 2015.
How about Velasquez makes a mistake and Esky hits a 2-run homer? Wouldn't that be nice?
Is that a call?
I sure hope so. Give him a parting gift. A little behind that one. Phillies got some action up in their pen. I don't know how much longer they'll stay with Velasquez.
I'd bet some of the Royals hitters today would be surprised if we told them that Velasquez fastball has been right around 91 or 92, because it's jumping on them like it's coming in a lot faster than that. Up the right field line, Borges looking up into the glare, and that's all for the Royals in the top of the 6th inning. Bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Ned Yost makes a couple of changes. Christian Colon is at third base because Brian Flynn is on the mound. So here's what managers have to deal with the National League rules. Ned Yost figured 2 innings, 2 1/3 innings was enough for Dylan G. He wanted to bring in Brian Flynn, but when the Royals come up in the 7th inning, the pitcher spot will be the 3rd spot. So Ned doesn't want Brian Flynn to hit. He wants a position player to hit. So in order to create a spot where a position player hits 9th, he has to make a change, a double switch. Colon is in the number 9 spot, and now the pitcher spot is the number 5 position. So that makes things not necessarily better, but more interesting in the National League game, because I'll bet in his heart Ned Yost did not want to take Cheslor Cuthbert out because you're losing some defense and you're losing a guy who's got a chance to pop one out of the ballpark.
No doubt about that.
That was well said, Ryan. You explained the double switch perfectly.
Thank you.
Yeah, strategy is much greater here than it is in the American League. Ned will tell you, he says, so much easier. All you got to do is worry about your bullpen in the AL. Late in games.
Two and two on Howard.
Designated hitter makes it easier.
Now, if Dylan G had made the last out in the top of the 6th inning, Ned Yost doesn't have to make that move. Howard strikes out. He's 1 for 3. Any more thoughts on our trivia question?
I have one. How about John Denny?
John Denny, the 4 Phillies to win a Cy Young Award. We have Steve Carlton, Roy Halladay, now John Denny. So we got to get one more. Hang on, we get a chance to talk about it? I guess we've had enough time. Galvis is flied to right and flied out to center. He's batting right-handed for the first time. How about an era? Steve Bedrosian. Wow. 1987. Good one. Carlton 4 times. Good question. Colon gets a glove on it and throws out Galvis.
Good job getting to it. Hit in the heel of his gloves, but he rebounds nice. They didn't panic. Had time. Feet are already lined up. He tapped his glove with his hand to get the feet in there. Get the timing right.
And now Cesar Hernandez, also a switch hitter. He goes the other way, and Kendrys Morales is right there. Brian Flynn works a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning. Royals are down 5-2 as they come up in the top of the 7th inning. Nobody sees sports quite like the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason for FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself, weekdays at 5 p.m. Andres Blanco takes over at first base. He started at short last night and then moved to first base. So a double switch. The pitcher spot is now the number 6 position for the Phillies. And Blanco will hit 9th as Edubray Ramos takes over in the 7th inning. He'll pitch to Dyson, Butera, and Colon. Out to Hernandez at second base. Dyson is 0 for 3. Drew Butera, with 1 out, walked and had a long plate appearance against Velasquez, coming back from 0-2. And then with 2 down, Alex Gordon drove him home with a 2-run home run.
Edubray Ramos. Edubray. How do you say that? His first name?
I think we're going with Edubray.
Edubray. 93 to 96. Hard slider. Curve. That's a hard slider there, or a fastball, but he came out the other night throwing big curveballs.
He pitched a scoreless 7th inning on Friday and on for the 7th inning today. 1-2 against Butera. Two down. A week from today, parents, bring the kids out to Kauffman Stadium for Kids Fest. Kids will enjoy pregame activities and entertainment, including a juggler, a balloon artist, a crazy hair artist, and much more. The first 5,000 kids 14 and under will receive an exclusive Slugger Big Head. You can purchase your tickets today at Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Kids Fest, a week from today. Christian Colon bats for just the 2nd time in the series. Three and 0. Three and 1. Whoa. How about that for coming back to earth after losing a 14-game winning streak yesterday? That's to the gap in left center field. Christian Colon is on with 2 down.
Take the air right out of him. It happens. You know, you win for a while and then you lose for a while. We hope.
Well, plus the impact that 19-inning game has on your bullpen.
Oh, believe it. Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Alex Gordon. Oh, man, is it nice to see him hit one not just out of the park, but in the second deck. Beautiful shot. His 6th on the season. We need that production from him in the worst way. Here he is again. Got it all going with that first time up. He got a nice base hit to left center.
Franco runs out of room. It's into the second row. I remember as Alex was rehabbing in the minor leagues and we were seeing replays of his games at AA and AAA, and most of the hits were to left field and left center.
Like to see him get that going again consistently, especially if Ned's going to lead him off.
Nice stop by Rupp, keeping Colon at first base.
And how big is the hole in the lineup when Lorenzo Cain not in there? I really miss him.
Well, fortunately, Kendrys Morales able to play in these National League parks, and I think that injury to Lorenzo Cain maybe kind of forced that situation too.
Good point. Speaking of Cornhuskers, I asked Dave Holtzman, our associate producer, how many Cornhuskers are Hall of Fames? Now there's one famous one here, Richie Ashburn. They love Richie. Grover, Cleveland Alexander, Wade Boggs, Sam Crawford, and Bob Gibson all were from Nebraska.
Chopped out to Hernandez. Ramos comes on and pitches a scoreless 7th inning. Stretch time in Philadelphia. The Phillies lead 5-2.
Phillies lead the Royals here on this Independence Day weekend 5-4. A lot of action, full slate around baseball. Panera takes us around the league. Toronto blasting Cleveland. Detroit trailing right now 1-0. Chicago 2-1 over Houston, and Texas down 1 to Brian Dozier and the Twins. Our Artemisia Mazda game break takes us to that slugfest, at least that one-sided slugfest. And the Canadian Russell Martin with the home run. The Indians are finally on the board. Coy Kluber 3 1/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks. We're not used to seeing that. Tom Gorzolani in relief, 1/3 of an inning, 4 hits and 7 runs. Keep that line moving, Royals. They've got a chance perhaps today to pick up a game on the Indians, but they'll have work to do, and then a quick flight up to Toronto, where they will cross what Hud said last night is that big border.
Huge border. Hopefully the Royals will play some huge baseball, Monty. So get them going up there in the Great White North.
Are we going to build a wall there? Or?
No.
No? Okay.
It's not that big.
Well, the last time the Royals were in Toronto, a lot of good things happened. So we'll see if that happens this year.
All 3 games on Fox Sports Kansas City. So Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Edwin Encarnacion, Jose Bautista is out with a sprained toe. And our pitching matchups tomorrow: Edinson Volquez and Aaron Sanchez. The Royals will see a knuckleballer on Saturday, or Tuesday rather, R.A. Dickey, and then Kennedy and Stroman on Wednesday night. And then back home for the 4 games against the Mariners and then the All-Star break. Brian Flynn will get Blanco, Herrera, and Borges in the bottom of the 7th. This is Blanco's first at bat. He took over at first base for Ryan Howard in the top half of this inning. Blanco started at shortstop and finished at first base last night. He was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Escobar in time, 1 away. So Brian Flynn has retired all 4 he has faced. Flynn pitched 2 scoreless innings on Friday night. Working around 4 hits, including a double, and then he made a very nice play on a line drive from Freddie Galvis to turn into a double play. Right to Hosmer. He'll take it to the bag himself, and 2 quick outs. Royals fans, don't forget you can share in the 2015 World Series victory by shopping the official fan collection for rings, pendants, cufflinks, and more. Visit Royals.com/fanrings today. Smallest crowd of the series, 20,473 here this afternoon, including that guy. Without him, it would be 20,472.
Good subtraction.
Is that a Viking hat? Is that what that is?
I think that's what that looks like.
And how does that apply to the Royals and the Phillies?
Hard to tell.
Is there a Scandinavian player on either team?
I can't figure
Noah
that one out.
Syndergaard is not here.
Yep.
Today was just the day to wear his Viking helmet.
What about that one?
The duct-taped parrot. Holtze reminds me that Iceland is playing soccer today.
Oh.
It's the Euro 2016 going on in soccer, not to be confused with the Copa America.
I've
A
noticed
lot of big soccer tournaments going on.
I've noticed soccer on a lot of televisions around this weekend.
Yeah. Iceland and France are playing.
Hate to disappoint that guy, but Iceland's getting tanked right now.
Or nothing. That guy might want to take that Viking helmet off and tuck it under his seat for the last couple of innings. Hosmer makes a play in foul territory. 2 perfect innings for Brian Flynn. The Royals are down to their last 6 outs on offense, trailing by 3 in Philadelphia. 5-2. Yordan Ventura left with a ankle sprain. Alex Gordon hit a 2-run home run in the 5th inning, making it a 4-2 Phillies lead. Phillies got a run back in the 5th. Their biggest hit was a 3-run home run by Cameron Rupp in the bottom of the 1st inning. Vince Velasquez gave up just 2 runs in his 6 innings while striking out 7. After this game, the Royals fly to Toronto and will have a 3-game series with the Blue Jays, a team that is above 500. And the Royals today are facing a team 10 games below 500, and the Phillies are 6 outs away on defense from taking this series from the Royals. Hector Neris with Merrifield, Morales, and Hosmer coming up, and then the pitcher spot. 2-3 with a save this year, and 51 strikeouts in 43 innings. 95 with a fastball to Merrifield. Witt is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts so far today.
Neris 90-94 with his fastball, slider, split finger.
There's the splitter. Royals have actually played well this year against teams above 500. Our Toyota League leaders. Royals have the 3rd best winning percentage in the American League against winning teams. Today they have to take advantage of a team with a losing record. Strike over the inside to Kendrys Morales. Franco looking up into the glare and makes a play near the line. It's a foul ball catch and a hitless day so far for Morales.
Well, Phillies pitching today doing something almost no pitchers have done this entire month, and that's retire Kendrys Morales.
0-1 on Hosmer. Eric is 1 for 3 today. Easy. 0-2. If we were at Kauffman Stadium, that's when you get that little guy out to the outfield experience.
That's right.
Put him on the merry-go-round. Neris does a nice job. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. And he turned in our AT&T high-speed replay back in the 3rd inning.
How about that nice easy swing? Right over the middle. And that was the one that sent Ventura to the shower. However, I believe it was the injury that Ned came and got him for.
Yeah, that was the last man that Ventura faced. Ventura injured his ankle running the bases in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He got 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd, but was limping around the mound in between pitches in obvious pain. That is a destroyed bat. And now Flynn to the bag in front of Ashe. And even though he got the first 2 outs, Ned Yost, Dave Island, Kyle Turner, Royals trainer, were all on the top step. They could tell that he was pitching with pain, and after he gave up the home run to Ashe, that was it.
Yeah, unfortunate. Let's show you. Now, little ground ball to the second baseman, and Ventura tried to avoid the tag, and that's what got him in trouble.
Right here.
Right ankle rolled. I mean, it rolled good. Packing in ice. Hopefully there's no ligament tear or anything like that. I mean, maybe it's just a stretched ligament. Put a little ice on there. But we don't know.
Franco deep into left center field, and now the Phillies have a 4-run lead. 3 home runs for the Philadelphia Phillies today.
And that's just a fastball right down the middle. And Franco, got it just right.
You know, Monty asked you if, careful.
That hurt.
Monty asked you if he reminded you at all of Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah.
You know, he's not as big, but you know who he reminds me of with his swing?
No.
Albert Bell.
Okay.
He kind of has a little bit of a hitch and really gets on top of the ball.
Now, I'm glad that lady got that ball, because that hit her right in the wrist. She tried to catch it. That hurts.
And now base hit left field for Cameron Rupp. Rupp's had a good day. He had a 3-run home run in the 1st inning. And now we're going to have another pinch hitter with the pitcher spot coming up. Tommy Joseph is going to bat for Neris. Two balls, no strikes. And that's hit well into left center field. Alex in that little alcove out there. 2 down, and Rupp is back to first base. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. Here's Freddie Galvis. Our producer today is Brian Shapiro, director Steve Kurtenbach, and our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and Dave Holtzman. Got the call over the outside. Galvis is 0 for 3. In the 9th inning, the Royals will have the pitcher spot, followed by Escobar and Dyson. 1-2 on Galvis. Anything can happen in this ballpark. And Ned Yost on his bench still has Brett Eibner and Salvador Perez, who were able to go deep, as well as Paulo Orlando. Still 1-2. Remember, if you can't watch the games on TV, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Royals wherever you go. That'll be out of play. That skips by Butera. You don't see many hitters today who have a stance as wide open as Galvis. Remember we were talking about switch hitters who are different from each side of the plate. He's pretty similar, and his front foot is almost out of the side of the batter's box.
It's just all about that comfortable starting position. See how he brings it back and then toe taps. And guys will experiment. Remember Moose early last year, was it? Early? Wide open like that from the left side, same thing. He's just trying to find something that works until you get comfortable.
Look at that. His heel is on the outside of the batter's box.
Now watch him bring it back though. He'll toe tap with it.
Just inside at 95.
Nice to see Flynn with that velocity. That's a hard sinking fastball slider combination. It's worked well. Flynn and G have done a nice job bridging the gap in long relief.
Base hit into left center field. That'll get another run home. It is now 7-2 Philadelphia in the bottom of the 8th inning.
But he's been up this inning. See where this pitch was? Saying hit me. Really nice. Very even level swing.
Cesar Hernandez. He's 1 for 3 today. Oh, and 2 on Hernandez. Here are the numbers we showed you early in the day in a very offense-friendly ballpark. The Phillies are last with 2.7 runs per game at home, last in batting average, and third from the bottom in home runs. Those are just numbers for home games compared to other major league teams, but you couldn't tell today with 7 runs and 3 home runs and 11 hits.
Yeah, and they scored 13 runs in the 3 games. That's where Flynn wants to keep that ball down there. Get out of this inning.
Now, we don't see the Phillies every day. We hardly ever see the Phillies, but if one of the complaints about them at home is that they try to hit too many home runs, they muscle up. I didn't see much of that this series. Right? How many
Yeah,
times did you see a Phillies hitter and you go, okay, he was trying to hit a home run?
Well, just a few swings, but you know, for the most part, they pitched.
And they've had a good approach at the plate. 2 big runs for Philadelphia in the bottom of the 8th. So we'll see the closer, Jenmar Gomez. The Phillies lead by 5. Inning. At one point they were down by 2 going into the bottom of the 5th, but the Phillies have scored 3 unanswered runs. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD at home, in the office, or on the go. You'll get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch-by-pitch tracking, and more. Visit MLB.TV for more details. Jenmar Gomez, 22 out of 24 in save opportunities this year, which includes a save on Friday night in a 4-3 game. No save opportunity today, but Phillies see an opportunity to take a series from a winning team, and they have really struggled at home. When the Phillies won on Friday, that put an end to a 7-game home losing streak. Paulo Orlando batting for Brian Flynn. Then Alcides Escobar and Gerard Dyson.
Gomez 88 to 93 with a sinker, slider, changeup. Rare combination of pitches for a guy who closes games. Usually you rely on the guy who can blow it by people and get some strikeouts, but he's been effective.
And most importantly for a closer is a guy who can keep the ball down somehow, because the mindset a lot of times late in games is look for a pitch up and drive it out of here.
Right, so that's what you have to have to have that role. Like that was up.
1 away. Coming up after the game, Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty, and we're all waiting to hear what Ned Yost has to say about Yordano Ventura's sprained right ankle as he was running the bases in the top of the 3rd inning. Ventura went just 2 2/3 and gave up 4 runs. And now Gomez gets Alcides Escobar. You talk about closers who didn't throw real hard but got the job done. Royals Hall of Famer Dan Quisenberry, who would throw one submarine sinker after another, and you got those big boppers up there trying to drive it out of the ballpark late in innings and just pounding it into the turf.
That's right. Works. Another guy I was thinking about was Houston Street. Sinker, slider. Been effective. This year he's had some issues. What do you say,
Doug Jones?
He was funky. He had a little sidearm action.
Todd Jones.
Okay.
We saw him in recent years with the Tigers. Off the end of the bat, Alcides Escobar extends his hitting streak and keeps the Royals breathing in the 9th inning.
There's a positive. Keep that streak alive. Away. Sinker stayed up.
One on, one out to Gerard Dyson. He is 0 for 3 today. Below the knees, 2 balls and no strikes. Jenmar Gomez was the 5th option when the Phillies opened spring training to be closer. He was hardly even on the radar. Andrew Bailey, who had some big years with the Oakland A's, was their first option to be closer. He did not get off to a good start and spent time on the disabled list. David Hernandez, who's been around for a long time as a reliever, has not had a good year and has only saved 1 game for them. Dyson walks and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
And that's when you start evaluating what you have in your own stable out there, and you're going with the most consistent pitcher. Doesn't necessarily have to have the velocity, but Jenmar is doing a good job so far, but they don't want to get the Royals back in here. Butera might pop one out here. He's got 2 homers on the season. Excuse me. There it is. There's the wrist. No homers with wrist, but he's got a couple homers. Well, Ned has some options on that bench too. He's got Eibner in there. He's got Salvi for a pinch hit, but you know, he's in control and has the keys to the ship.
And even for someone like Salvador Perez, that's a tough job to be sitting around for 3 hours and go up there and hit, as opposed to a guy that's been there all game, and this is his 4th at bat.
And he's been reliable. It's not like he's hitting, you know, he's over. So, you know, Ned's just giving some of those guys a full day. And sometimes when you pinch hit for a guy like Butera, who gets his 1 start a week, and you know, this game's a little bit out of hand here. I mean, it hurts his confidence. So that's why he's not pinch hitting for him.
Hindsight being what it is, Eric Hosmer made the last out of the 8th inning. Paulo Orlando was on deck. So Ned Yost was going to pinch hit for Brian Flynn, but that spot never came up. So Ned put Flynn back in there, and he gave up 2 runs in the 8th inning. And without those 2 runs, Drew Butera right now represents the tying run. But with those 2 runs, the potential tying run is still sitting in the dugout. Two down. Another example, Hud, of taking a guy who's basically has two pitches, a good sinker and a slider. There's the slider for a strike. As a starter, Gomez just never panned out the way the Indians had hoped and would get hurt third time through the order. Now that sinker and slider plays pretty well when that's all he has to throw and he's only going 1 inning at a time. One and one on Colon.
Plus, you know, you throw in his arm angle factor. He's got some deception with that 3/4 sidearm. But you know, you wonder, is he a closer for a championship team?
Well, he'll have to do it for another year or two.
Right.
Just to prove that the league hasn't made some sort of an adjustment against him. Colon. Sliding play. And Blanco, the former Royal, gets it to Gomez, and that ends the game. And the Philadelphia Phillies, who had lost 7 consecutive home games before this series started, they take 2 out of 3 from the Royals this weekend. Final score 7-2. We'll be right back.